Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. The theme of this episode is cheating stories. I'm scared. If you haven't already, please leave a review if you're on Spotify, a 5-star review, and leave a comment on any platform because I want to hear from you guys. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and hype up the video. I think everyone's been asking how to do that, and I'm pretty sure it's just you press the like button and then it will show you that you can hype. I don't know. That's how it does it on your phone, but I don't know how it does it on the computer actually. It's confusing to me, but let's get into the episode. The title of the first story is I, 22 female, woke up in the middle of the night to find my best friend, 22 female, sleeping with my boyfriend, 24 male, in the living room. I don't even know where to begin. My head is such a mess right now. So my boyfriend John and I have been dating for 3 years, and at the beginning it was the most romantic love story. I met him when I was 18 and started dating him when I was 19. And the more I dated him, the more I saw a future with him. He would always put time and effort into me, take care of me, and go an extra mile to put a smile on my face. But things have changed since then, to say the least. After about a year and a half of dating, it started with little things like him not wanting to kiss me as much or finding excuses not to hang out. We went from seeing each other every day to only hanging out maybe once or twice a week for 2 hours. I know he's got his own life and I'm not trying to control him, but I wish he would make me feel a little more special and maybe make an extra effort to see me. I should probably also mention that I suffer from depression and low self-esteem, and it's probably really hard on John when I'm in a bad state. I try not to, but sometimes I just can't help feeling so alone and in the dark. So anyways, we were celebrating my best friend's, ex-best friend now, birthday at my house last night with a bunch of friends, maybe about 20. And there was a fair bit of drinking. The reason she couldn't have the party at her house was because she shares her place with roommates, which was fine because I had no problem throwing her party at mine, as long as she helped clean the house up in the morning. The night went all right, but I did notice John and Sarah, the best friend, were getting a little too close, like him grabbing her from behind and spinning her around, but I just brushed it off because I never noticed anything before and we're all best friends. So after around midnight, everyone has left and John, Sarah, and I are chilling in the lounge room, laughing about our night together. And when I was ready for bed, I set up a mattress in the lounge room for Sarah, and John told me that he'd be in our bed soon. So I went to bed and I crashed alone. And maybe after a few hours, I woke up in the middle of the night desperately needing to pee. Now, I don't have a bathroom connected to my room, it's down the hall. So I slowly get up and realize John isn't in our bed. So I went to walk down the hall when I start to hear moaning noises and I'm like, what? And I peek my head down the hall to see John and Sarah having sex. I know I should have confronted them right then and there, but I couldn't. I just snuck back into bed and cried silently. I didn't even have the chance to pee. So now it's morning. John snuck back into our bed and is acting like nothing happened. I've lost a lifelong friend and a boyfriend I put 3 years into. I don't even know how to confront him. I'm not even sure if I can confirm what I had seen because we were all drinking. It's driving me insane. But the real kicker is that John and I haven't slept together in months. He can sleep with her, but not me. I just feel so low. How can I confront them and even begin to process this? I don't want to lose John. We have our ups and downs, but he's everything to me. If anyone has ever been in this situation and has any advice, feel free to let me know. Just don't be too brutal. I think I already know what I have to do. Yeah, I think you know what you have to do, girl. If you saw your best friend sleeping with your man, you probably should break up. And then kick your best friend out too. And say adios muchachos to both of those people. Someone said, unbelievable. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I would first sit down with John and just be straight up about what you saw and heard. There's no way he can lie or deny it without looking like an idiot. And then I would deal with Sarah afterwards. Honestly, if it were me in this situation, I would cut them both off right after confronting them. No questions asked. What your friend and boyfriend did was beyond betrayal. There are no excuses. And I wouldn't even bother trying to hear them out. No. Especially if you saw that, unless you think that you possibly could have not, but like, what would be the reason that your boyfriend would be hanging, like you fell asleep for multiple hours and then you woke up in the middle of the night and you saw them together and you heard noises. It's like, unless you dreamt that, which I don't think you did, I feel like maybe you're trying to like gaslight yourself into thinking that maybe you dreamt it, but no, absolutely not. And I feel like it's hard because confronting people can be hard. And like, I would say you should just kick out your boyfriend and Sarah at the same time and say like bye. But I know that that can be hard. So that's the only thing. It's like maybe if you don't feel comfortable confronting them right away, you can just be like, wait till Sarah leaves and text Sarah. And then I don't know. All I can say is leave. Someone said he cheated on you and broke your trust. You deserve better. Find someone who respects you. And then OP said, one thing I'm scared about leaving is that he has private photos of me and I'm afraid that he'll share them if I left him in such an abrupt way. He can be that kind of petty person. Ew. Well, please don't date anyone like that ever again that would do that to you because that's so ridiculous. Here is an update the next day. I used the excuse that I had to text my mother what day we're hanging out today. I don't have credit and John knows that, so he didn't suspect anything. Credit? What does that mean? And I went through his phone and the evidence was pretty damning. They've been sleeping together for a while. I took screenshots of their conversations and sent it to my phone in case he tried to deny it. After all of that, I confronted him when Sarah left. It was so hard to even get the words out. And you know what? He denied it. He told me that he loves me more than anything and would never do that, and that I should know that, and to stop accusing him of such silly nonsense. That's when I told him that I've seen all of his and Sarah's messages. At first, he still kept denying it and saying that someone hacked his account and he doesn't know what I'm talking about. But eventually he broke down crying, saying that he loves me and he doesn't want to lose me, but couldn't feel the spark anymore and it was the biggest mistake of his life. He wants to make this work and push past this. Well, maybe you should have tried instead of sleeping with my best friend. So I told him to leave, and of course he doesn't know where his keys are and asks if it's okay for him to stay for a few hours when his best friend Mark gets off work so he can pick him up. It was so difficult to say no, but I did. I just wanted to be alone. I don't even know who he is anymore. He ended up finding his car keys, and he's been calling and messaging me ever since. As for Sarah, I got a message from her saying this, and I'm assuming John gave her the heads up. Quote, I can't even explain how sorry I am. I never wanted to hurt you, and I don't know how this happened, but something grew between John and I can't deny that we have something so intensely strong and real. I hope we can work for this, and I hope you can someday come to be okay with me and John being a couple. I wish you the best of luck, and when you're ready, please message me. Lots of love. Unquote. So I don't know what to believe. John is telling me he wants to work through this, while Sarah is saying they're a couple. I'm now going to be ending it with John, and my mom is going to come meet me and stay with me for a few days to make sure I'm okay. Thanks for all of the advice. Okay, well, this is giving telenovela. Is that what it's called? Because what's going on here? Yeah, your friend acting so nonchalant about it is crazy. Lots of love. XOXO, like, nor. Okay, someone, relevant comments, I never wanted to hurt you, and I don't know this oh, wait, they're responding back to that. So real, OMG, until one of them loses that spark and cheats on the other. This is how people act when they have no self-control or willpower. If you're losing the spark, you don't go F other people, you try to work on your relationship, or you end it if you're not willing. OP said, exactly. He should have ended it with me months ago when he first felt something for the snake at least. I no longer have respect for either of them. Okay, then there's a couple more edits, and she says, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for your words of advice and support. Some of you guys suggested that I send messages that John sent me to Sarah. Me and my mom talked about it and how I might come off as spiteful and jealous, but I thought, screw it. I don't owe you guys the time of day or respect, so I sent them to her. At first, she didn't respond and ignored it, but then replied, asking to meet up and discuss this. She's now playing the victim, saying she had no idea that John still wanted to pursue me and that we've both been played. Ugh. I have no idea if Sarah messaged John or what came of those messages. I honestly want nothing to do with them anymore. My plan is to pack up all of John's shit and leave it out front. Then message him and he can collect it while I'm at work. He's got 3 days to get it until I donate it to a charity. I also blocked his number in every social media account so he can no longer contact me. I've also removed his name from any shared responsibilities or accounts we have together, and any mail of his that is sent to my address will be returned to sender because I'm not putting up with any more of his shit. As for Sarah, I have no intention of keeping that snake as a best friend. But unfortunately, we travel in the same friend group, so I'll just have to avoid any future gatherings that she's participating in. Luckily, I have friends that love me and will help me move through this. Edit 3, he picked up his stuff, loaded it into his car, and then showed up at my door. I told him to pick it up during my work hours, but of course he didn't have the decency to give me that. I'm so angry. Mom said that he tried to walk through the door and she told him to get lost and slammed the door in his face. I could hear him calling my name and it made me cry a little harder. I just wish I could have had the satisfaction of watching him have the doors slammed in his face. What a POS. What? And then OP, there's a final comment. It says, I spoke about it to 2 of my friends and I'm assuming everyone knows by now. I just don't have the mindset to really talk about it with them at the moment, but they understand. As much as I hate her, I don't want the group to feel like they have to choose. Oh, yikes. I would be sorry. If that was my situation, I would be like, yeah, you guys better choose and you better choose me. At least the people that are closer to me. And because you always have that in a friend group. You always have people that are closer to one person than another. Like you're always closer to some people and then other people in the group you're not close to. So I'm sorry, but if I was super close to people in that group and I'm more close to them than they are with Sarah, they better be choosing me. Are you kidding me? It's not like I'm going to be like, you better choose, but I don't know. That's what I would do if I had a friend group and that happened to my friend. And one of them I was closer to and the other one I wasn't that close to, but I was still friends with technically because we're in the group or whatever. I would absolutely choose the friend that I'm closest to and I'd be like, sayonara, especially because I don't want that to happen to me. If she could do it to her, then she could do it to any of you guys. So I would be careful being friends with them. Someone said, no wonder her self-esteem wasn't great. She was surrounded by assholes. It seems OP was a doormat and they probably thought that they could get away with it. If OP didn't physically see it or found the damning evidence on the phone, she might not have had the self-confidence to break up with them. I'm glad she found the strength. It's not easy to dump a best friend and a boyfriend, but they sure made it easy. Guys, it's actually crazy. Just talking about cheating stories is reminding me that recently, so I have this roommate that I was roommates with in college for I think it was only a year. We didn't really get along. So it was me and my best friend in college, and then it was our friend and her best friend that we didn't know. And so we literally didn't even meet her until we moved into our apartment that year. And I believe it was my sophomore year of college. And we got along really well with our one roommate that we asked to move in with us, but we needed an extra person. So we asked her if she has anyone that would want to move in with us. There was 2 rooms. It was a 2-bedroom apartment and 2 bathrooms. So it was me and my best friend sharing a room and then her and her friend sharing a room. Okay. So I'm just prefacing all of this just to tell you, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, me and my best friend were really good friends with one of the girls. Let's call her Danielle, okay? And then her friend, Jane, we'll call her Jane, okay? Her friend Jane moved in with us. And we got along really well with Danielle. We were really trying to build a relationship with Jane, but it just never really worked out that well. We were we got along really fine. We hung out and had a lot of fun together for a while, and then tension started to rise. Things started to happen in the apartment that really pissed us off that she would do. So we got in a screaming fight with her once about the stupidest thing ever, but she was so rude for some reason. She was just not a very nice person. She didn't really have many friends because of that reason. I think she was not very nice to everyone. She was only nice to a couple of people that she was friends with. Okay, this doesn't even really matter, but we were still friends with her when this happened. So she had been dating her boyfriend we were 21, and then they were a year older than us. So they were a junior in college and we were sophomores in college. She had been dating her boyfriend, who was like everyone thought he was like the hottest kid in our entire college. And mind you, my college was not big, but like he was actually really good looking. But like once I met him, I was like, okay, never mind, because a personality really makes someone. She was dating him since she was 14 or 15 years old. So they'd been together for like 7 years already at this point, and they were like the couple. Like everyone thought that they were the most perfect couple. Also, mind you, I went to a religious college, so they were super religious. And this guy was like the leader of all of these like men youth groups, and people would go to like men would go to him for advice about things. And he acted like he was like holier than thou of everything. He acted like he was like the most perfect man ever. And he was just like created in the image of God, like he was Jesus Christ himself. Before we moved in with Jane, she had been gone for the year prior to that, for like a full year across the world on a missions trip. She was not really able to talk to her boyfriend while she was on the missions trip. And this is like the excuse he used, because we eventually found out that he had cheated on her while she was gone for the missions trip. Okay. And first he admitted it I forget how she found out, but he admitted it to her that he like had kind of an emotional affair with someone while she was gone, because he couldn't talk to her while she was on her missions trip, so like he needed someone to, yeah, okay, that's a great excuse to cheat on your girlfriend of 7 years that you apparently love so much, and you're also like think you're the best person in the world, and you put on this front like you are perfect and you're a perfect person and you don't make mistakes. Sorry, it really pissed me off when this happened. So we were like, dude, don't get back together with him. Like, please don't. And she was just absolutely crushed, which makes sense 100%, obviously. But she got back together with him within like 5 days after he like admits that he cheated on her. And we're like, okay, whatever. We were just supportive about it. It's fine. I didn't feel like I really had much of a place to say anything. And then it comes like they're back together, but things are like on the rocks a little bit. And then it comes to Christmas time, and I go to her hometown because it's like only a couple hours away from my hometown, and my other roommate comes, but my best friend is going home, so she didn't come with. And we were all like, we went into the city that night, and then we went back to her house later, and we were all kind of like drinking, and we were at her house, and she was like, oh my God, Sam, I'm going to call him Sam, okay, her ex, is texting me all of these things, admitting all this stuff, like he actually slept with another person, like he's trying to get everything off of his chest, basically telling her all of this bad stuff that he did, like saying all of these, he watched Corn while she was gone, he had an emotional affair, he literally had sex with someone while she was gone, which she was just now finding out. He did all this and this and this, like so many things. And she was like, he's texting me all of this stuff, he's admitting everything right now so that like he can get everything off the table and off his chest, and so that we can be together and like start fresh, basically. And we're like, oh, also one of the things was they weren't drinking, and he like drank, I guess, without her knowing. Oh, also, they were supposed to be celibate. They decided that they had already lost their virginities to each other, and they were like having sex for like years. But then once, I don't know what happened, they decided to re-virginize and save themselves for marriage. They were both like celibate for a year or 2 years probably. And during this time that they were supposed to be celibate, he slept with someone and had an affair with someone else, and did stuff with that girl too. Like he still did stuff with her and probably slept with her too. But I don't know like the nitty gritty, because this girl wasn't very open about it. I know a lot, obviously, but she wasn't super open about it. And I think that was because she knew she was going to stay with him, and she knew she was going to get back together with him. So it was like, you don't really tell the nitty gritty to your friends about that, because then your friends are going to hate them forever. And yeah, so we were at her house and all of that stuff. Like he was, sorry, this is taking forever, but I just really wanted to tell you guys the story because it's crazy. The other day I was finding out what happened. And then that was literally 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We stopped being friends with them after we moved out because we just like got in a fight with them and didn't like them anymore. Me and my best friend moved out and we were just like separate from them, whatever. And then she was like so mean to us and yeah, whatever. So it was kind of like there was animosity between us, okay? But I knew that this guy was not going to be faithful to her. But then she stays with him obviously after that, goes on to get married to him like 2 years or 3 years ago, and then she has a baby with him like a year ago. So she has a kid and everything with him now. And they've been together now. It's been like 11 years they've been together. At this 12 years they've been together, okay? And guess what? They became kind of influencers. They grew like 800,000 followers during the pandemic, and they kind of were like couple influencers, and they would make videos like that. You guys probably don't know them, but they had like 800,000 followers. And the other day, randomly, her TikTok comes up on my page, and it's like my divorce story. And then she's talking about how she found out that her husband was having an affair. She was like, our whole relationship was a lie. I was so shocked. Like, I couldn't believe it that she, like, 6 months ago when they got the divorce and she found out that, like, he had an affair. I was so shocked. I was just as shocked as you guys are probably finding this out right now, because everyone on TikTok looked at them like they were the star couple. Meanwhile, I'm watching their TikToks all of these years thinking the whole time, like, you guys don't know. Like, all the comments would be like, oh my God, you guys are the most amazing couple ever. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, they're not. He's definitely going to cheat on her, or probably is, and probably has already multiple more times, because he like knows that he can, and he's just that type of guy. Yeah, so she's like telling her story about how he accidentally texted her, and that's how she found out that he was having an affair, because he accidentally texted her instead of the other girl or something like that. She's gonna post another like story time more in depth and like answering questions and stuff, and I'm just like waiting for it, because I haven't talked to this girl in years, haven't thought about this girl in years, other than like randomly when their posts would blow up and I would see it sometimes. But I just thought that was insane. I literally scrolled and she came up and I saw divorce story time, and I go out loud, because I was just like, wait, I knew this was coming. And I hate to say, like, obviously I hate to say like I told you so, and also I don't really like the girl, and also I don't like the guy either. But I do feel bad, because that's like a sucky situation. But anyways, sorry. That was my own little cheating story in the middle of this episode. I'll keep you guys updated though. I just think it's so interesting, like, that they were influencers and everyone was just obsessed with them, and everyone in college was obsessed with them, thought that they were the best like couple ever, and no one knew what was going on behind closed doors, because they don't tell people. They try to act like they are like this super godly couple and they're so amazing and they never do anything wrong, but then they judge all these other people. They're like for sure homophobic, for sure everything, like, ugh. Sorry, that's the type of people that I was like dealing with in college, that just like skewed my perception of Christianity so much, to the point where I am literally deconstructing Christianity for the past like couple years. So anyways, move on to the next story after that long ass interruption. The title of the next story is Husband Having an Affair with Married Coworker After 16 Years Together. My husband and I have 3 kids. 8, 6, and 2, the oldest of which has cancer. And the mistress has 2 kids, 4 and 20. My husband and I have had the occasional conflict here and there. And while I acknowledge it and can sometimes be a struggle, we generally got along well and always apologized at the end. Though the conflicts we had were only occasional, they did sometimes feel like a lose-lose situation, because neither of us felt like our feelings were being heard due to defense mechanisms and other triggers. I had asked several times if we could see a therapist and work out some better conflict resolution skills, and he always said he wanted to think about it but never actually agreed. I decided to attend individual therapy to work on my own resolution skills. Despite this, we had what I perceived to be an otherwise pretty happy and loving relationship full of laughter and connectedness. Unfortunately, this week, my husband unexpectedly told me he has fallen out of love with me and that he wants a divorce. On my birthday, he said it was because of how we handle conflict together, and he's known for a couple years that it was inevitable. I was completely blindsided by this because I would often periodically check in to see if he was happy, and he had always said yes. He said brutal things about dreading being in the room with me and being intimate with me. I was absolutely shattered. He became so harsh and cold that it was like he was a different person. He's never talked to me like that in 16 years. He said he wanted 50-50 custody of my kids, and I was crushed because my babies are my entire life. Friends and family were concerned that he was cheating. I work 12-hour shifts and rely on my husband to do school pickups, but lately he was frequently working through lunches, which left my parents to pick up the kids. He also worked late and would delay picking my kids up from their grandparents' house for a couple of hours. I was always so appreciative of how hard he worked for our family. I didn't want to believe it, but when I checked his phone, I discovered everything. Lots of nudes, photos from both of them, videos of them having sex at work, videos of them having sex in hotels, face selfies of my husband waiting in my son's chemo room, conversations about arguments my husband and I had, and the mistress responding and saying I had to get an effing clue and that she was happy he was able to put it back on me. I screenshotted everything and sent them to myself before I confronted him. Turns out he's in love with his mistress and he wants to be with her. He said it's complicated and that she has not told her husband about the affair. It's been going on for over a year. My son was literally diagnosed with his cancer in September, and I'm honestly sick to my stomach knowing what he has done through that time. Despite it all, I'm completely devastated to lose him. His conversations with her look like a completely different person. Never in a million years would I have guessed that was him. I sent him away to sleep in his work office that night, but the following day he called and said he wants to be with his kids and be at the house indefinitely until we finalize the divorce. He has a right to be in his own home, but being around him has been making me physically ill. I'm absolutely miserable, clueless on where to start, and heartbroken watching him leave the house and knowing where he's going. I told him that legally I'm still his wife and that I don't want him talking to his mistress at all while he's under my roof or around my kids. He has agreed to do that, but he's been so deceptive that it doesn't mean much to me anymore. I can't imagine being stuck in this situation for months or longer. He even had the nerve to ask me if his mistress can be around my kids. I'm so furious, so sad, so distressed, and just feel like I want to die. My kids don't know what's going on yet, but they have been sensing that I've been distressed. I'm trying to hold it together and lean on family and friends. I'm also super stressed about losing our home. My husband is wanting to sell it, and my parents have mentioned they may be able to buy him out. I haven't told my husband this because I need to figure out how that might work, and I don't want to make his life any easier at this point. My credit is meh, and interest rates are so high, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my low interest rate from when I bought the home a few years ago if they were to buy him out. It's all just too much to lose at once. I can't eat. I've lost 10 pounds in 1 week. Can't sleep. Never been so depressed in my entire life. In 1 week, almost every single aspect of my life has been threatened. Someone tell me it gets better because I am barely hanging on. Whoa. That's actually insane. Oh my God. But thank God, because what's just so crazy is like sometimes people could really talk themselves out of a situation. And I do agree. I do think that like finding videos or even just like walking in on someone cheating on you would be absolutely horrific and more horrific than just finding out that they cheated on you. But I also feel like it would help you because you know for sure that like that's a fact they cheated, especially if they tried to deny it. So that's the one good thing about her finding videos. Like at least there's proof and he could not deny it because I'm sure he would have. Okay, wait. So this is Dear Mistress, I guess, and it's over 1 month later. It says, "It has been a few weeks since I found out about your affair with my husband. I recently read the messages you shared with my husband during the most vulnerable and painful conflict of my life. I saw what you wrote about how you felt I should get an effing clue and that you were happy that my husband was able to put it back on me. I would like to share with you what exactly was on the line during that conversation and why I was so shocked and devastated by it. In an instant, everything I have loved for the last 16 years was taken from me. When he mentioned divorce, it was a complete blindside. That word had never come up in the entire length of our relationship together. I'm not blind to the fact that conflict was sometimes a struggle. It was something we were working on and regularly made an effort to try to listen and apologize. I was also prioritizing therapy to help improve on our conflict and resolution skills and identify any unhealthy mechanisms that we had. Whenever I asked him to try therapy, he always said he wanted to think about it, but ultimately he never did it. Outside of that, we had what I had perceived to be an overall happy relationship, full of love, friendship, and laughter. When I was uncertain how he was feeling, I would ask him, and he would always say he was happy and that he loved me. It's clear now that he was lying, but at the time, all I had was his word and his actions to go off. The day he mentioned divorce, I was suddenly facing the potential to lose the love of my life, my best friend, my home, and the livelihood of my 3 babies with no warning. I'm sure you can imagine how that might feel. Imagine now that your life is crumbling before you, and then you're left in the darkness for days, uncertain whether it all lives or dies. This is how I felt during the conversation my husband retold to you. I was terrified of losing my family. I couldn't eat or sleep. All I thought about was what it meant for my kids and my 16-year relationship. Each day that went by, my husband repeated that he was too tired to talk. After a couple days of this, I needed answers for the sake of my family. I see that you wrote how aggravated you were that my emotions and feelings needed to be addressed immediately for my own relief. Sincerely, I hope you never have to go through the terror of this same ordeal. Never in my life have I felt such overwhelming pain and sadness. Ever. But thank you for your input anyways. I'm writing this letter from one woman to another now. My husband made the choice to be unfaithful in our marriage. He's the one that chose to violate that promise, and I will always hold him accountable for that. That being said, you should also know that your affair with him has destroyed an entire family. My sons are sensing the distress in the air and have been asking where their dad is. They wait to eat dinner with him until their food gets cold because they want to eat as a family. They've been frequently asking why he's so late. I also rely on my husband to pick up his kids from school on the days that I work, and I have noticed that lately he has had to work through lunches and stay late, which left my older parents to have to pick them up from school and take care of them for hours longer than they expected, while the boys waited for their dad. Now I know why he was always late, but they don't. The kids don't understand why. My oldest son is also going through chemo treatments and pending assessment for autism. He doesn't respond well to change, and we've been very concerned with how this news will affect his condition and recovery. If he relapses after this situation, you should know that I will blame you for it. My 2-year-old has been crying almost constantly and clinging to us as we try to leave. He's a baby and was under a year old when you started this, but they pick up on more than you think. My 6-year-old asked why his dad wasn't there in the morning, and I had to lie to him and tell him that he was working early. I also want to thank you for the lovely surprise of realizing that I needed to make an appointment to check for STDs as a grown married adult. My husband has been intimate with me throughout your entire affair. I know you're also married, and so it's safe to assume you have also been intimate with your husband all this time too. I just don't know why you wouldn't rather use the strength of your womanhood to further your sisters. Instead, you have chosen the cowardly route of tearing other women down to further your own ends. You know that he's a married man and you laugh about it. He just had a baby and he has a wife and 3 kids. I just don't understand what kind of self-respecting woman would do something like this. You've caused so much pain and sorrow. I could never do this to another human being. You should tell your husband before I do it for you. Wait, she hasn't told her husband yet? Oh, please. Tell the husband. Just do it immediately. I wouldn't even care. Like, I'm not giving you a chance to tell your husband because guess what? I actually couldn't give a damn at this point. I want to honestly be the one to tell. Is that petty of me? I don't know. But I would want to be the one to tell the husband. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be finding him on Facebook or what the hell ever these people do these days. And I'd be saying, your wife is having an affair. If you'd like to call me at this number, then go ahead. I will gladly talk to you and give you all the details about it. And you know what? If you want to see the videos too, I'll send you those. Like, please. I would not even let her have the ability or the chance to tell her husband. Okay, 15 months later, there's an update. First and foremost, my son is officially cancer-free. He rang the bell of chemo completion at the end of 2024. He is healthy and living a normal childhood now with his siblings, and I'm truly so grateful. I took the advice of many on here and got the best attorney in town, called multiple other high-talent ones as well, to get consultations, as I was told it would then be a conflict of interest for them to work with my husband at that point. I filed for divorce in August 2024, and the divorce was final in November 2024. My attorney told me everything to say to my ex and was a secret ghostwriter of my paperwork. He never even knew I had an attorney. I told my ex at the time that I was trying to puzzle through the best housing scenario for our kids. My oldest kid was still going through his chemo treatments and is also autistic, so he doesn't adjust well to change. I knew if we sold the house, the boys would lose their childhood home and also change schools, which would be really rough on them. By the grace of God, my ex voluntarily offered to walk away from the house and forego hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in the home if I paid off his debts. He had maybe $30,000 in debt and a car payment. So my incredible parents helped me pay him off, and we essentially bought him out of his portion of the house while still keeping my low interest rate from the time we purchased. My ex didn't have a hint of remorse up until this point, but I think he finally realized the effect of this and the effect that it would have on his children. He was also heavy in his affair fog and probably just wanted to wash his hands of me as fast as possible. So when he offered to walk from the house, that was the time I ran to get an attorney and make sure it was done correctly. We talked to title companies at first, but the attorney told me it wasn't necessary to do that and that my ex could sign an interspousal transfer deed along with our stipulated judgment and the house would be legally mine. My ex and the affair partner are still together. He's told my kids that he has a girlfriend and plans to move in with her and my kids in April. I have the kids in weekly therapy and they're doing well with it. My ex decided he didn't actually want 50-50 custody, and I have 70% custody of them. So my ex essentially gets them every other weekend and one random overnight weeknight a week. This was his idea. It was hard to be away from my babies, but I tried to remind myself that they were safe and happy with their dad and use that time to focus on myself. He also pays me a large amount of child support every month because of this requested custody arrangement. Not sure he ever realized this, but it is very helpful. I have revamped my home and redecorated it to make it my sanctuary. I absolutely love it. My ex is renting an apartment in a cheaper part of town. The affair partner's husband is now aware of the circumstances, and they're in the process of completing their divorce. I am personally doing very well now. I lost a significant amount of weight and go to the gym regularly. I also go to church and therapy every week. I have heavily poured into my self-growth and have become a completely different person, full of peace and contentment. I also regularly invest in beauty treatments that make me feel happy. Hair, nails, lashes, and my confidence has never been higher. My ex still tries to trigger me and speaks in a condescending tone on a regular basis. I took the advice of some people on here and gray rock the shit out of him. He truly doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. It's like I've pulled an Uno reverse and he can't process it. Between my mental growth and my physical changes, he always looks visibly confused. Haha. On the bright side, the affair partner gained a bunch of weight, and it has been fun to hear people's commentary on that. Normally, I'm a total girl's girl, but after the way she treated me, I will secretly relish in that. I decided it was important to keep conversation with my kids regarding my ex's relationship with the affair partner age appropriate. They don't know about the way the relationship started, but if they are older and they ever ask, I will be honest with them. I'm now dating someone new. It's been a little scary to be back out there, but I am trying to trust in time, consistency, emotional intelligence, and high effort. You all deserve the same. Truly, I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I was thinking about unaliving myself for some time, but I saw a psychiatrist and started some meds, and it has changed my life. The darkness gets easier. Hang in there and message me if you ever need anything. God bless you all. Oh my God. Wait, I'm actually so happy for this woman. Like, thank you. So, this is how, like, I know it's not so easy to do this, but this is like how you deal with a divorce in a cheating situation, especially when you have kids. Like, genuinely work at yourself and like put all the energy into yourself. And this is very privileged of me to say. I know not everyone can do this, but if you have the ability to do it, like, this is how you heal. And especially just like get over him and let him, be unhappy, basically, because he's gonna be unhappy, and so is the affair partner. Like, the rush of it all, it's over. The fun, exciting part of it, which this is not fun or exciting, that's terrible, but some people do find like an affair fun and exciting, and it's like a rush and it's like adrenaline. that part is all over. And once that like really settles in with them, I feel like they're just going to go if they're going to go look for that in someone else, because you have to realize like that's just like, you have to be emotionally intelligent enough to know that that type of euphoric puppy dog feeling honeymoon stage, it doesn't last forever. What you should do if you're feeling unhappy in your marriage is reignite the flame and work on it and go to therapy. And because guess what? That's just going to be where you end up every single time if you're constantly leaving someone for a new relationship because you want that feeling of like the new relationship. And I'm not saying it's easy, but like you just have to remind yourself sometimes like this is normal to go through ebbs and flows in a relationship. And guess what? I need to make the effort to make sure that it doesn't go any further than this, that we can get back on track with our relationship. And there's different stages of life and different stages of your relationship, and that it's okay to not always be like so puppy dog in love with your partner. Like there's times where you're going to be really busy and you're focusing on other things, and then your partner, you know what I mean? You just have to be emotionally intelligent. And clearly someone that has an affair is not emotionally intelligent, especially when you are in a relationship, you have kids with someone, and you're literally together for 16 years. Like 16 years. You threw all of that away when it sounds like you guys had an otherwise very happy relationship. Like everyone has conflicts in their relationships. You guys can work through it. And it's just like you have to choose to be with your life partner and commit to them, even through the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows and everything in a relationship. Unless, of course, they're treating you like literal ass, or like obviously if the relationship is like this and it seems like it's fine, then I don't see a point in like, that's like, not really, but if you guys watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and ew, I actually can't stand Jordan, Jesse's husband. All of like this stuff coming out this season about him like emotionally abusing her basically the whole entire relationship, and then she has like an emotional affair, they like to call it, but really was that an emotional affair? They kissed 2 times and then they were like texting, I don't know, but like oh my god, I can't actually, I just watched the new Nick Viall or whatever, Nick Viall, his second part to their interview. So last week they put up an interview with Jessie, and she like talked about her side of it, and then this week's was Jordan's, and ew, like if you wanted to redeem yourself, I'm sorry, you are not redeemable. It's like you are just not a redeemable person, because I can see right through that. And I mean, honestly, he wasn't even making it that hard, because he was just being an asshole straight up. And I'm like, wow, if this is how he is acting, and it wasn't even like it's not like he was being super crazy, like such an asshole or anything. It was just like, I could just, like, you could just tell he was seething. He wanted to be crazy, but like he knows that he can't yell at his wife and like demean her on a podcast in front of everyone. The top comment says, "Oh man, cheating on your wife while your kid battles cancer. Hopefully that haunts him one day. That would take introspection, so I doubt it." And then someone said, "Not only while one kid has cancer, but potentially before the youngest kid was even conceived. Their youngest is 2, and the ex told OP he's known divorce was inevitable for a couple of years. I would not be surprised if this realization came after his affair started, but before OP got pregnant with the youngest, which, like the cancer, is an extra layer of evil." Yeah, for real, like, ugh, it's truly just too much. Like, come on, why are you so annoying? Tell me why. I can't deal with it. But seriously, if you guys watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, let me know if you watched those interviews. I know some people cannot handle listening to Nick Viall, and I understand, but I always listen to like any interviews that I want to listen to the guest of the episodes. And honestly, sometimes I like to listen to his Ask Nick thing, not to listen to his advice, but to listen to the people that calls in their stories. I mean, he's not like super likable character. God bless him. Anyways, I am so starving right now, but I still have to film, so I can't eat yet. But I love you guys, and let me know what you thought about those stories. Sorry that I took up like half the episode telling you a random fact. And I also went to check her TikTok to see if she posted anything else, and she hasn't, but I'll keep you guys updated. If she does post another like explanation about what happened and more details of it, I'll keep you guys updated, because let me tell you, it wasn't shocking, but it was, because it's like I knew that this would happen because of the past and what had happened, but just to see that, like, yeah, I knew that would happen. Anyways, love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.